Very good morning to you on this 13th day of November. If you've joined us, then you've joined the Fifth Connection, a channel where we are given to telling the storyline, recounting the storyline of the scriptures. And this morning we are in Ephesians chapter 5 and verse number 12. Speech is a most fascinating phenomenon. The fact that we can articulate, that we can vocally express ourselves is a unique human ability. And it is quite surprising how much the scripture speaks about speech and speech patterns. I was thinking down the road, I need to do a couple of episodes on the freedom of speech. What is it? And why does the scriptures have so much, even in this section, to say about speech? In verse 1 to verse 6 of chapter 5, he talks about speech in conversation and sexuality. And he continues in verse 12 all the way to verse number 17 with that through line. The importance of watching what you say, when you say it, and where you say it, because words have potency to them. We look this morning at verse number 12, because in this section, the writer is talking about sinful violations, that which stands in opposition to reality, to what's really real, and how we need to address what is really real, how we need to go at reality. He talks about light and darkness, and we spent some time talking through the backstory about the two themes, the two thematic ideas in Greco-Roman culture and light and darkness, and what that looked like, especially light in terms of Second Temple Judaism, and how Jews understood what light was and how light was to be dealt with and interpreted. Now in verse number 12, after he has talked about you and my having no part, taking no part, not be participants in verse 7 and verse 11, have no part in the deeds of darkness. He now starts out in verse 12 and he says, for it is shameful even to speak of the things that they do in secret. They are those who think that things can be hidden from God. Now, both followers of the way and followers by the way and along the way are in view here. It says, don't even talk about these shameful things that they do in secret. It is disgraceful to lower yourself, to give voice to the things that they do in the dark. Don't give them airtime. Don't give them screen time. Oh, how we are worshiping in front of our screens these days. Only that's not a form of idolatry, because that's all we do. Our eyes are glued to a pane of glass behind which there's all kinds of stuff going on. It is shameful to even voice the things that they do in secret. Remember, secret sin on the earth is open scandal in heaven. Secret sin on the earth is open scandal in heaven. And what we do when nobody's watching, and where and when nobody's watching, there's one whose eye is on us. He's the transcendent one. But, says verse 13, when anything is exposed by the light, light has a way of exposing and bringing us to our centers. But when anything is exposed by the light, it becomes visible, the text says. But when the performative dissonance of anything is shown by the luminous, when light shows up, we are able to detect and see the performative disconnect, the performative dissonance between what we say and what we do, and what we say and do and see. But when performative dissonance of anything is shown by the luminous, what happens? It manifests. It manifests itself. It shows up for what it is. And if it's dirty, rotten, and stinking, it's going to show as dirty, rotten, and stinking. We have a way, our flesh encourages us to dress up dirt, to dress up what stinks, to dress us what is rotting, and where there is performance dissonance to make it look respectable, because fake news is like that. It tries to dress up a lie in ways that are believable and unbelievable, unbelievingly or unbelievably believable. That's why people are conned into fake news. How is it that we can believe a lie? We think that anything that we see on a screen and behind a screen is true. And if we know the amount of fake news that is running around, the amount of propaganda that is propagandizing our minds and anesthetizing our souls to what is really real, then we'll know what we're up against. A little later on, we're going to talk about warfare in this arena, because there is a beauty to war. You may not think so, but you're going to see some very interesting texts in this script about the beauty of war and what this body, this assembly looks like when it dresses for war, when it takes on reality from a state of battle readiness. It's able to move and go with the flow of reality. For it is shameful even to speak of the things that they do, those things that are said and spoken in secret, those unfruitful works of darkness. We are, as followers of the way, to expose them. Don't give them airtime to multiply. Expose them. Shine the light on them. Be the light they ought to see. We like Gandhi's little quote, be the change you want to see. Well, how about being the light they want to see? They don't want to see the light, but let them see it. Be the light you want to see. But when anything is exposed, when performative dissonance is shown for what it is, because light breaks in, we can see reality for what it is, and our reality manifests in devastating and crushing ways. We see a lot of lies flying around our own news in this country of ours. Billboards, news flashes, lying through their teeth. And somehow we are anesthetized to the effect of lies and the effect that lies has on our souls. If you hear it long enough, it makes it more and more believable. Because you see, it takes energy, it takes guts to stand, it takes fortitude to be battle ready, mentally and spiritually and cognitively. Because the battle in this culture is for a battle of supremacy over our minds. And the enemy is seeking to take us captive by messages we are hearing morning, noon, and night. What are you exposing your mind to? What literature are you reading that is opening up yourself to attacks in ways that you could never imagine? What are you watching? Yes, what are you watching? Not just what is watching you, but what are you watching that is seeping into your soul and giving you a fake view of what is really real? Sometimes we love to daydream. I'm not saying that all dreaming is wrong, but we need to be alert, because we can dream and wander into areas that will finally besiege our minds and take our minds captive. 2 Corinthians says we are to take every thought captive, every idea, because that's what a thought is, an idea made up of a subject and a complement. And that idea, if I'm constantly exposed to it and it is wrong-headed and it is incorrect, it's amazing how I start to develop a taste for it. That's why there are some things we need to run from. Paul tells his young protege, Timothy, to flee youthful lust. But yes, you say, I am in my 60s and in my 70s and my 80s. Oh, it's amazing how youthful lust has an allure to it. The wonder and the intoxication of being young and watching youth with jealousy, because now we have grown just a bit older. I'm half the man I used to be. I'm a quarter of the woman I used to be. My beauty is gone. My machismo has evaporated. Oh, how we struggle with just growing older. Wow, we need to be careful here, because light has a way of exposing where we really live and where we really are. Scriptures teaches that it ain't over until God says it's over. Some of us are acting as if it's over already. So we continue to hide in our little dens, our little fortresses where we feel safe. And that gets us not to venture out into reality. It's amazing how that being out there clears our minds of a lot of cobwebs because we are living at the rock face of what is really real. Light is a way of showing up performative dissonance, inconsistencies in our lives, disconnects in our lives for what it really is. It manifests. Where are you living this morning? It's the 13th day of November. Today's going to be no exception. You will face challenges. Are you going at it, or will you allow it to crush you as you go into this day? I trust that you will enjoy the Lord and be on the lookout for opportunities to obey Him, to walk with Him, to walk in the light. Goodbye for now.